Hello again, everyone. It's Andy here looking at the markets, and we're looking at the major currencies you can see on the dollar index on the far left, followed by the majors that we look at. You got the yen, Swissy, Canadian across the top, euro, pound, Australian dollar across the bottom. And what you're noticing here is that you have 4-hour charts. So these are all 4-hour time frames, and specifically, when you take a look at the dollar index, we're identifying last week's trading range and comparing it to this week's trading range. So I identify a highlight last week's trading range, and then I watch it as the new week develops. As you can see here, the dollar index futures basically tried to take out last week's high here pretty early, and that gave a downward move to the euro. You can see this initial push here in the dollar index futures taking out last week's high breakout here, as you can see. And typically what I do is I wait for a market reaction to this point and use this as a buying opportunity in the dollar, but this situation failed, and the market traded lower in the dollar index futures, going all the way back down to the psychological level of support. You can see here the 80 even level, but once that failure was in place in the dollar index futures, you can see here that the euro was able to maintain support at last week's closing price, and moved its way higher up all the way just above 135 before failing, as you can see here, pushing into the back end of the week off of the 135 zone. So dollar index futures hitting psychological level of support at 80, euro hitting psychological resistance at 135, and both of them really coming into play nicely there. As you can see in the dollar index futures propelling after the market hits this 80 even level, market propelling back above last week's high. You can see 80.35 breakout coming back, and this time, although slipping below the high of the previous week, did use the previous week's closing price as support here at 80.37. As you can see, nice little stop there on the dime, and then the rally off of that could have given you a pretty decent opportunity. As you can see, this zone here, when the closing price and the high price are so close together like this, essentially this becomes a zone as opposed to a level. Okay, so typically what we do is when these levels are far enough away from one another, we can use them independently. As we see here, 79.17 is the low, and nowhere near it we have the closing price or the high price. Anyways, back to the other stuff. You can see here that the pound dollar breaking out last week's low very nicely. The second time, the first time getting a little bit of a rejection here that could have stopped you out. Along with the euro here, basically retracement first half of the week. Second half of the week did try to attempt to take out the previous week's lows. What's interesting here is that we did not take them out with any conviction. So be on alert here that there could be some accumulation down here in the 130s, 133s in the euro, and there could be an up push going into next week if the bulls have anything to say about it. Very major, massive support down here. The pound dollar breaking down, here you are at 155, so that gives you another reason to believe that we're at some sort of level of support. The euro obviously failing at support last week, as you can see, just a big massive sell-off, but your pound also just continuing to slide here, which gives us reason to believe that the Australian dollar looks like it would break down, but maintaining support here at 102.55, breaking down, trying to with no conviction, and then a big short covering rally towards the back end of the week, as you can see. So if you maintain subsequent higher low at I think it's 102.5, you're going to see this trend line develop here in the Australian dollar. But in a sense, what we need are these levels, 102.50 and 102 even to hold here in order for this thing to break out. And then we need this 103.75 low to break out. Australian dollar, looking for that to potentially move higher. Japanese yen, very quiet sideways movement. Looks like there's a little high here at 94.50. I'll be on alert here to see if this market continues to break down next week. This consolidation, or what we call distribution, there's a lot of profit taking up here in the face of some of the other currencies moving. So be on alert here to see if we break down below this week's lows. You can see 92.50 As long as we stay below this high here at 94.50, then the market should continue to move lower. Swiss franc, fresh breakout here. Did try to break out of last week's high, failed. Maintaining support at 91.50. If we do continue to break here, 92.50, it looks like this thing is going to try to reach its way up into 95 even, or at least 93 and change. But for now, you can see the stair-stepping pattern here in the Swiss franc, which gives us reason to believe that there may be more support coming in the dollar index futures. Nice little upward trend here. Just don't want to fight it. Look for pullbacks down to 92 even, and that'll give you a pretty decent buying opportunity for a move back up to 92.50 going into next week. You can see the Canadian dollar continues to show strength here, breaking out of last week's high. Looks like an M formation. Thought there was going to be some failure. I'm sure everybody thought that this was going to break down. Found support at 1 even, and then the market just rallied back up into their faces, stopping everybody out. You can see the Canadian dollar, nice little reaction this week before breaking out of last week's highs. You can see here at 1.0040, pushing all the way to 1.0080. Nice move there. And it looks like going into next week, I'll be watching the Canadian dollar to see if we can break above this 101 even level. Under the current circumstances, you can see here that we have higher lows. You got this high going back to last week, put in a higher low this week. So you connect these two lines, and then you have a short-term trend line. As you can see here, the Australian dollar should confirm what you're looking at the Canadian, which would suggest that you break down below this at 102.50. So be on alert here. That going into next week, be on alert to see if the dollar can break above 81. If that proves to be the case, then you're definitely going to see Swiss franc up and the Canadian dollar up. Euro continue to push down, pound and Australian dollar to move lower. On the other case, 79.90. If you get down below this, then I'll be looking for the opposite case scenario in the rest of the currencies. So I hope that helps. This is Andy signing off. Good luck in trading. I'll be looking for some decent movement in the dollar index going into next week. So be on the lookout. And that's all I got for this market wrap. Hope it helps. Good luck in trading. We'll see you at the next market wrap. While I got you here, I wanted to take a quick moment to say that if you really liked what you're looking at here in the free Forex market wrap video, I wanted to give you the opportunity to come take a look at the premium weekly Forex market wrap video that I do every week. And basically it's a little bit more in depth, or should I say a lot more in depth information about the markets that I cover. And you can see here that in this short video I go over the basics about what I've been looking at on the major currencies. In the more in-depth market wrap video, I take a look at a in-depth analysis on the 6 major currency pairs. You also get actionable trading scenarios. The important thing here is that we're offering a 3-day risk-free trial, so you don't have to pay a cent. It's about a 30 to 45 minute video that'll go through all the major currency pairs that I look at, and it shows you a lot more in-depth analysis and forecast, looking at the longer term picture and the big major trends that are affecting what you're looking at on the lower time frames that you're looking at on a day-to-day basis. So take a moment to go take a look at the premium market wrap video. You can see the link here provided, www.traderstouch.com/3day, and it also includes a free membership to the Traders Learning Network, where you can meet other traders that are like-minded individuals, and they're basically there to help everybody looking at the same markets as you. So good luck, hope it helps, and look forward to seeing you on the inside.